All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at my trade on ticker symbol TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. All right, so this stock was sliding today shortly after open, and we decided to get into this play. So puts to the downside, and we end up making a 97% ROI. So we're going to take a look at that. I'll go over the charts with you guys step by step along with screenshots. And then finally, we're going to also take a look at a strategic move that Uber made today by partnering up with a particular social media company that has made a stock to the downside, and I see it affecting Uber stock to the upside in the future, as well as it will be a huge boost to a lot of small local restaurants. So let's get into the video. So we have Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing up on the screen. This is today, so let's go ahead and take a look at what was going on. So you could see around 12 a.m. Now remember, this is a Chinese company, or a company in Asia, I should say, not Chinese. This is an Asian company, so it's on a different time frame. It's trading at a different time frame on that side of the world. All right, so this is 12 a.m. Boom, boom, boom. Moves up here. Then we get down to 6:30 a.m. All right, it's going, 9:10, still going. Notice it's consolidating, so it's bouncing between here and here. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Boom, takes a dip here at 9:30 and shoots back up, and most people would think, hey, if you're not using the charts, it's going to keep going. Well, guess what? 9:45, it gets to this peak, and then it just starts to slide. 10 o'clock hits. You guys already know how I feel about 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock hits, dips here, comes back up a little bit to 145, and then it just slides all the way down. So pretty much we got in around here and just played it to the downside. And I'm going to hop into the charts right now and show you exactly what we did. All right, so we go ahead and hop into the chart right here. I already have it queued up on the replay button, so I'll just go over it. But the points of interest that you see here are circled. So this was the first thing that interests me, this area right here. This was my entry. This was my first sell. And then this was my final sell. So let's go ahead and hit play on this, and then I'll walk you guys through. All right, so you could see here, stock is moving. Then we have this area, big gap, and it just shoots up. Goes into this little channel, breaks out of the channel, hits this descending line, comes back down, right? Breaks through the descending line, goes back up, smashes that line at the top, comes back down, kind of respects the line, breaks, boom, smashes through this channel, then we're consolidating again. All right, so we're waiting, hoping. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see me post this on my story that I was waiting for the consolidation to break. So boom, breaks out of this channel right here, so these two lines, and just keeps running. We enter around here, it comes up, touches the channel again, and this is where patience is required, guys, because whenever there's any kind of consolidation, you got to watch it, but you also got to trust your fundamentals and have your confirmations. You want confluence, and you want double, sometimes triple confirmation. As you see, it just continues to slide to the downside. So I had 5 contracts when I got in. At this point here, I sold 4 of those contracts. All right, so I was already profitable, and I just left 1 contract running because I was looking at a particular area. And the area that I was looking at, it touched this area right here, and it looks like it was about to start getting out, so I sold my final contract here. And that's pretty much, how it played out. Now, if you watch, you guys will see that it starts to actually go back here. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and pause and just exit this, and then I'll go back and show you guys why I actually chose that area for entry and why I was watching it, and also my exit point. So we're going to go ahead and get out of that replay. So let's scroll back over here. So pay attention to this little area right here. There's a huge gap here. So from this candle all the way up to here, there was a gap. And that's why I marked out that area. So I put a line at where the gap started and ran it all the way across to this section, right? Then we noticed on open, we had some kind of consolidation around this area. So we drew a channel. So a channel is nothing but two lines. So one at the top of the candle, one at the bottom. And we had consolidation in that area. Comes up, right? Comes back down. We have this ascending line, which I drew after, which just pretty much was kind of giving me like a path as to where the lower lows were going to be. All right. So this was the height of the candles. So we drew a line across this section. You see that it comes up here, breaks through, but then comes back down, retest it, and just keeps sliding. Gets into the channel down here. And we have consolidation at this point. And at this point, I was just waiting for it to, break out of the channel. Whether it's what was going to go up or down, we're going to play it. But I do know that history usually tells you whenever there is a huge gap, it usually is going to come back down and try to fill that gap at some point. So we got breakout. So this was confirmation to the downside. Went down, came back up. And the previous area here became like resistance. So touched the area again, consolidated a little bit, broke down, boom, right back down to the line where the initial breakout was, right? That massive gap came back down, touched that line, went up a little bit, touched it again, and I got out here. Like I said, I sold 4 of my 5 contracts at this point. And we had some more consolidation. You could see from the purple the bubbles, the David Banner bubbles. We had a lot of selling pressure. And at this point, I didn't want to get greedy, so I got out here. Soon as I got out, it started to go back up, go back up, go back up. But if you scroll over, you'll notice it's still below this blue line, which is the average. And it's kind of just, it's going up a little bit, but it's still consolidating. But I exited here. And as you guys can see on the screen, from the screenshots, I'll just read it off to you what I have here. So I ended up getting in at $215. So I put up $215. Between both sells, I end up selling for $425. So my profit was $210 or 95% ROI. Now, as far as my R multiple, this is not the best R multiple. It's a 1R, which means that pretty much I put up like 1 and I made 1 on top. So almost 100% return, 97% ROI. The good R's are like 3 R's or 4 R's. I've had those, but they don't happen very often. And you have to learn to adapt to the market, guys. All right. So that was my play. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, if you had an aha moment just now, go ahead and like that video, man. Like that video. And if you're not subscribed, please do. A lot of you guys watch the video, but you don't subscribe. Subscribe, put on alerts. Let's go into what happened with Uber and why Meta stock is sliding and how this is potentially huge news for small restaurants, local restaurants. Let's just get into that. Uber Eats embraces TikTok wave with new short-form video discovery tool. Uber Eats tests TikTok-style videos in New York, San Francisco, Toronto to boost food discovery and support local restaurants. New feature lets users swipe through videos of nearby food, enhancing menu transparency and encouraging exploration. And I can tell you this, having been living in New York for a while, New York has a plethora of restaurants in the city, just all over New York, but particularly like, let's say in Manhattan, there's so many restaurants. You can't go into them all, you can't try them all. But let me tell you this, if you're someone who orders on Uber Eats video and having access to video of the actual different types of food, that's when you'll see people start saying, man, that looks good. Man, I want to try this. So it's going to open a whole new realm of sales for Uber. So I see this affecting the stock in the long term. Also, for local businesses, they're going to feel the impact of this immediately. This is going to be so impactful, almost as impactful as what Google AdSense or sorry, Google AdWords was to local businesses. A lot of local businesses just exploded when they started using Google AdWords. This is going to be huge. Uber Eats is already the go-to platform for people looking to order food at their house. So this is just going to be massive. And I think it's just going to send the Uber stock flying in the near future. So definitely keep an eye on Uber stocks. If we scroll down to the rest of the article here, it says Uber Technology Inc. Uber Eats is introducing a TikTok style short form video feature to enhance food discovery and enable restaurants to highlight their offerings more vividly. This feature, which is currently undergoing testing in New York, San Francisco, and Toronto, represents Uber Eats' foray into the burgeoning realm of short form video content, aligning with a trend popularized by platforms like Meta, Instagram, Google, YouTube, Snapchat, and recently Microsoft with LinkedIn. The feature showcases video in a swipeable format visible in carousels throughout the app, including the home screen. TechCrunch reports. So this is going to be really, really massive for, I would say, Uber in the long run. Right now, Meta is actually down because of this strategic alliance. You guys know Meta was earlier on. It was what, like in the 520s, and right around when this news came out, it just started to do the electric slide. So it's all the way down. At one point, it was at 508 or 506. I actually bought some more fractional shares at that point. It's gonna go back up, I am sure, but this is a huge blow to Meta. But I guarantee you, just watch Meta race to compete with Uber and try to make some kind of deal with DoorDash or whichever other food delivery platform. But I will say this though, Uber is actually the major food delivery platform. My daughter over here going crazy. So expect um, Meta to probably try and strike some type of deal with DoorDash, who I think is like number two in terms of food delivery, or number one, I don't know. But I know Uber is massive, and Uber has a massive platform from people just using the taxi service. So they piggyback on that with Uber Eats, and that's been hugely successful. So this is definitely huge for Uber. Right now, Meta is down. Uber stock hasn't really started like responding to the news as yet. As you guys can see, it was kind of like up here at 75. It dipped down. So if you're looking to get in and possibly ride this news up from what is it, 73 all the way back up to here and possibly beyond, like I said, this is going to be a long play for Uber because, we're going to see how it affects earnings. Obviously, it's going to boost earnings. And then when it boosts earnings, you're going to see that reflected in, their reports. If we scroll down and we take a look at Uber, I believe that they're going to be reporting on May 7th. So pretty much like a month away from now. So that should give it enough time, to rack up, and hopefully, even if the numbers are not in the report, I doubt they will based on this, but even if the numbers are not in the report, I'm pretty much sure that the number is going to be included in the forecast or the guidance. All right, so definitely keep an eye on Uber. And then finally, today we have the big story. Meta. Mark Zuckerberg made 26 million per hour this year to swoop into the top three richest spot. That is crazy. $26 million per hour. Did you guys hear that? 26 million per hour so far. All right, so let's scroll down and take a look at this article. We have Facebook founder has seen his wealth grow by nearly 60 billion this year, while Musk has lost 48 billion. And yes, we break it down by the hour. Key points. Zuck elbows out Musk by 6 billion. Meta soars, leaving Tesla in the dirt. Musk was number one as recently as March. So it goes on to say Mark Zuckerberg is now the third richest person in the world. The Facebook founder regained the third spot after last rubbing shoulders with the top two back in 2020 when he was worth 105 billion. Both times he had to elbow out Tesla CEO Elon Musk, but this time the stakes were ever so high. Zuck's fortunes are now standing at 187 billion, while the tech knocking of Tesla is looking at 181 billion as the world's fourth wealthiest person according to Bloomberg Billionaires Index. So this is just massive, 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 guys. Meta is pretty much printing money hand over fist for Zuckerberg. If you guys are not invested in Meta, I suggest you start to get in. I pointed out to you guys earlier today that there was a huge dip, so now is the time to enter. All right. But this is definitely the company that you want to be playing. You want to have a position in this for the long term. There's another article over here. I'll scroll down. It says why Meta Platforms is a top growth stock for the long term. So this is by Zacks, and they have a whole thing about their score. So I'll just scroll down to the section. I'll link this both articles in the description if you guys want to read it. But this is all about their score and how it works. But what I want to do is get down to the section where it says stocks to watch, Meta Platforms. So it says here, Meta Platforms is the world's largest social media platform. The company's portfolio offering evolved from a single Facebook app to multiple apps like photo and video sharing app Instagram and WhatsApp messaging app owing to acquisitions. Along with in-house developed Messenger, these apps now form Meta family of products used by almost 3.98 billion people on a monthly basis as of December 31st, 2023. This is a massive, massive user base. And believe me when I tell you, they are heavily, heavily, heavily monetizing this user base, either through, ads that just regular people view or through people who are selling products. A lot of people are using Facebook ads. Yes, Google ads is still the number one, which is AdWords, but Facebook ads is right up there. Meta is a number 2 buy on the Sachs rank with a VGM score of B. And like I said, you guys can go over the scoring system and you'll figure it out. Additionally, the company could be a top pick for growth investors. Meta has a growth score of B, forecasting year-over-year earnings growth of 34.6% for the current fiscal year. For fiscal 2024, two analysts revised their earnings estimate upwards in the last 60 days, and the Zacks consensus estimate has increased to 0.19 to 20.01 per share. Meta boasts an average earnings surprise of 19.7%. With a solid Zacks rank and top-tier growth and VGM style scores, Meta should be on investors' shortlist. So definitely this is something that I would buy into. I am actively averaging into Meta because, like I said, it's creating just phenomenal wealth. It's creating wealth for Zuckerberg, and you can own this stock and create some wealth for yourself. So let's take a look at Meta over max time. You guys can see it is up 1,253%. If we look at it over the last week, the stock is up 4%. The last month, it is up another 6, almost 7%. Last 3 months, 44%. Year to date, 46%. Past year, 139%. And over 5 years, 193%. So this stock is huge. And then recently they also announced that they'll be paying a dividend. So you're getting money on both ends. You're getting the benefits of being in a growth company, which surges a lot faster than, say, a dividend stock or your average dividend stock, because most of those companies that pay a good dividend, they're usually tapped out and growth is really slow because they pay out a lot of the profits back to the customers in the form of dividends. Well, Meta recently started paying dividends, which usually indicates that the company is slowing down, but clearly you can see the growth is still exploding. So Meta, again, for me, Zach said long term, short term. For me, this is a long term. I'm constantly average into my position of Meta. That's it for the video today, guys. I hope you find the information useful. If you did, please go ahead, like the video and subscribe. But more importantly, please share this video with a family member or a friend. Thanks again for watching the video. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.